Hey everybody, this is Lisa,
I'm Cryss.
and this is episode 27 of
Are
the
you
Knit
sure? I
Sheet
thought it was 26.
Knit and Crochet podcast. I checked.
Okay. I was just checking because I thought you had said 26 in there. Okay.
No, I asked if it was 26 or 27, and you were
Ah.
like, "Oh, I don't know." So I was like, "Oh, let me look because I
Okay.
don't
I
know
have
either."
no clue.
Okay, there we go. And there goes our perfectly nice opening.
I think this is what people expect of us
I
now.
know,
No
right?
one expects a normal opening.
Okay, there we go. So, Cryss, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. You said you had a list, and I haven't seen the list, so this is going to be like, woo.
Okay, this is the list right here.
Okay. I'm not going to read it now.
I tried to tell her about it. I tried to have like a pre, meeting, and she's like, "That's so official."
It is. I'm just like, we're just chatting.
Okie dokie. You know what? I'm gonna get some housekeeping out of the way because I always forget. So the first thing I wanted to get out of the way is: did you guys know that we have a weekly event that we call Sit and Stitch? Well, we have a weekly event we call Sit and Stitch. And basically, it's a Zoom call where we just get together with folks that used to come to our store or have found us online, and we sit and stitch together. It's 2 hours long, and it's from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoons, and that's 1 to 3 Eastern time. So do check it out. I'm going to put a link that will take you right to it down in the description bar. Oh, and check out our description bar. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. So I wanted to get that out of the way. And I always forget to show what's going to be in our prize package until it strikes me like lightning at the very end. So let me do that first this week. And here I am trying to be organized about this. So basically, we are having a bit of a giveaway. We want to get up to 300 subscribers. So please share this video. Let your friends know, hey, there's prizes to be had, and there's a fun
How do
podcast.
people enter the giveaway? Do they have to subscribe? Do they have to comment? Like, what's
you just have to subscribe. When we hit 300 subscribers, I will go through the subscribers list and pick somebody at random, and they will get the bag of goodies. So this week's goodie comes courtesy of AKS Mom. She just left this on the table for me. She was like, "Hey, you want something for your goodie bag?" I was like, "Okay." This is the cutest little shawl pin, and they are so useful. I got to wear a shawl pin this week.
It wasn't hers, though.
Yeah, I got busted.
I was like, get that shawl pin.
I was like, I found it.
It wasn't lost.
So, shawl pin. I also am including a shawl cuff. This is a leather one from Flytrap Clothing. You can just clip it around your shawl to hold it in place, or you can even wear it as a bracelet. They make very nice bracelets. And I'm going to recap some things we put in weeks prior. This is a Harry Potter Christmas sweater patterned project bag. And if you notice, I'm only putting things in the bag that either knitters or crocheters can enjoy. And a new piece this week is the blingy row counter. This actually is a type that sits on your finger of choice.
I feel like I would forget to actually count my rows.
You know what? I put them on my thumb because I see my thumbs the whole time. So this style and the ring style that I also wear on my thumb are really the only two I can keep up with. But I will keep adding to the bag. Oh, and let me know. I'm just storing this stuff in this bag, but should I include this bag?
Sure, why not?
Let me know if you guys
Everyone
would like
likes
this bag.
a tote.
I mean, really, it's a nice little tote. So that's 2 bits of housekeeping that I got out of the way before I completely forgot about them. Yay. Crystal's wearing something today.
Oh my gosh, I wear something every day.
Well, yeah.
Like, you're gonna give people the wrong impression.
No, no. As opposed to being naked, no.
This is my camisole that I sewed. This is the first one. I'm making a second one now, and she's got some problems. We're gonna work them out. But she's finished and she's wearable, and you know, that's really all we care
And
about.
it goes with the sweater you made.
I know. I was like, because I had the camisole on, and it was a little chilly, and I was like, well, what do I have? I was looking for a shawl, but I was like, wait a minute, this kind of goes. This is like a moment happening here.
It is a moment.
And so I got my straps, and it's got like a little lining thingy here. I guess most people don't pull out their
It's called a
linings, but
facing. Yeah.
that thing. And I knew it was called facing.
I know you knew.
And this was a skirt that I got from a thrift store, and the skirt was reversible. So the other side had a fabric that was orange with white polka dots, and so that's what I'm making the second camisole out of. So I'll have like a little set of camisoles.
That's really cool.
Now the pattern that I'm using is for like making like a shift dress with a sheer overlay, or you can make a camisole with a sheer t-shirt overlay. So down the road, when I come across some sheer fabric, I might, make the tops, the sheer tops to go over the camis. But right now, it's just camis because I wasn't really like thinking clearly at the thrift store. I was like all excited,
having a moment.
Yeah, and then I came home and I was like, okay, what am I actually gonna do with this stuff? And so far, I'm working it out. But next time I go to the thrift store, it's gonna be a little bit more targeted, a little bit more focused, a little bit calmer.
You think? I don't think so.
Calmer.
I think the excitement is gonna take over.
I ran in there like Yahtzee. So
what pattern did you use for this?
It's a Simplicity, I think. Whoever I got the sale on, I think it was Simplicity.
Okay.
Patterns, and they were $1 each, so I went buck wild. Ha!
Okay. You're definitely part of the nerd herd. But I think it looks great. I really like it, and I love that you can pair it with something else from your handmade
like it's
wardrobe.
Real clothes or something.
Yeah, like it's real clothes. Imagine that. Imagine that.
So my second, technically my third sewing make, but my skirt that I made, I'm gonna make another version of that, and I'm trying like one of those PDF patterns where you have to like tape everything together. I think I need to get some paper to trace on instead of taping it together and then cutting out the pages. I want to just like trace the pattern pieces for the skirt.
That would work.
I just haven't bought it yet because I've been trying not to buy stuff. But, sometimes you need a thing. So you're just going to have to go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you a question. If I'm using like paper pattern pieces, do I have to have different scissors for cutting those out?
I wouldn't cut them with my fabric scissors.
Caramba. Okay.
But what you can do, though, is just weight the paper pieces down and cut around them. Oh, you mean like freeing them from the paper?
Yeah.
Yeah. Use paper scissors for that. Because what it will do is it will actually dull your fabric scissors.
You see, everything needs its own like little special. I'm never prepared for all like the supplies that I need. I was just like, I got fabric and thread. I'm done. I'm sewing forever now. Apparently not.
Okay. I'm just gonna act like
and
that.
And let me just tell you, like I was shocked and appalled at the prices of scissors. I think the ones I got were like $20-something, and I had a coupon, so I got like maybe 40% off.
Mm-hmm.
But there were scissors there up to like $75, and I'm like, I look like King Midas to you. Like, who's buying $75 scissors?
And believe me, those are not the most expensive ones. Those were expensive ones at Joann's.
My feelings were hurt a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right? Don't like that you would charge me that much for scissors. So now I need my paper scissors.
Well, I have paper scissors. Those gold ones are paper scissors.
Are they? Because the fabric ones you gave me,
yeah.
I can't. They're too heavy. They hurt my hand.
Well, try it and see if it works for you.
She has these like big, serious metal scissors, like the whole scissor, like handle as well as metal, and so like it rests right here on this knuckle, and it's very uncomfortable to use those scissors. They scare me.
See, I never found those uncomfortable. But you know what? Hands are individual things. So if you, how did you like yours?
Mine has a plastic handle, and it's a different shape. So the part that rests plastic hand is a little bit wider, and so it's not putting as much pressure in one spot. And yeah. Yeah. So I had to go ahead and pop $25 for
Yeah.
them.
You needed it for your ergonomics and your well-being.
Although I'm
So-
still trying to get the hang of the rotary one.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones I'm using yet.
I was very impressed that she was able to use those at all. I tried using rotary cutters several times, and every time I attempt to use a rotary cutter, I cut myself.
I don't know how. It's like
And-
virtually impossible.
Psst, girl.
And when
no.
you're not using it, you can retract the blade.
Yeah,
And so it's
all of that. I have cut the opposite hand and the hand that I was cutting with. Tell me how that works.
I honestly can't imagine.
Me neither, but yes.
Yeah, okay. Proof right.
Your new skirt, right? What pattern is it?
Oh. So there is a website called Sew House 7. And it is one of their free patterns that's available on their website. And I don't know if it has a name.
Well, we don't have to know in this moment, but I'm just making a note of it so I can remember to look it up.
Yeah, but it's from Sew House.
But it will be down in the description bar.
And so if you haven't been following along, the issue is that the old skirt is not tapered. It's a straight skirt, and I want a tapered skirt. So I'm going to just make another skirt that is tapered.
And you'll have enough fabric because you had the fabric, and it will avoid the stain on the fabric. Yeah, that's good.
Hopefully, the new one won't have a hole.
See, it'll solve a host of problems. It will.
So when I finish the second cami, I'm going to be making the skirt again, and then I might make some shorts.
I had a lot of hoop dreams for this week, but then on Monday, I went and took a booster vaccine, and I thought, oh, okay, I don't feel bad. Nope.
Somebody don't listen. I was like, don't try to knit. Don't try to knit.
I was good up until maybe 7 o'clock that night, and then everything went downhill from there. So Tuesday was just completely shot, and Wednesday wasn't that much better. I'm just starting to feel like myself again today, but I'm still kind of tiring easily. So I did not get a lot done this week. But I did wear my shawl on Monday, so I was very happy about that. So here is my shawl in the wild. Notice how I paired it with a blue bag that pulls the blues from the shawl. So let me tell you, it brightened my whole day. And it was just what I needed. It was like the perfect jacket replacement. I may never wear a jacket again.
Okay, no, yeah, okay.
But I did get a little bit of work done on my sock, although Crystal was like, don't knit.
You want to try to do a heel?
Yeah, I did the heel on one sock. I was hoping by today to have both heels done, but that did not work out. But I do have the heel on sock 1 finished. Now, I am very happy with how these socks are coming along. I love the interplay of the two different directions of the stripes. That amuses me to no end. And these are the Alvar Socks from the book 52 Weeks of Socks. And I want to show you guys something. I did the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So there we are. And one of the advantages of doing the Fish Lips Kiss heel is that you don't get those holes on the side of your sock where the heel, let me make sure I'm in the right place, where the heel connects back to the front of the sock. Here we go. No holes. Now the holes aren't a big deal, really, because you can go back in when you're done and close them up with a little bit of yarn. You can duplicate stitch over them. There's like 50 ways to resolve that little hole problem. But it's one less thing to do if you are working a sock. And I love the Fish Lips Kiss heel because it really fits my foot very well. So what is my foot like? I have a wide, flat foot. So but it's
And that's not a thing you expect to hear. So let me tell you about my foot, child. Okay.
Because socks are very individual.
Yeah.
So one of the ways you can decide, okay, what heel am I going to make my typical heel? Unless the heel is decorative or something, you might want to do something different. But for just a standard heel, I usually do the Fish Lips Kiss heel because it fits my foot. My foot, when I put in the sock, this sock is going to go out like this, and it's going to stretch forward. And for some people, that's going to cause some tightness across the front of the sock, especially if you have a high arch. I have almost no arch. I got flat feet. And I find if you're a flat footed person, this is actually quite a nice heel. And if you have a wide foot, interestingly enough, I don't have a particularly wide heel, and this forms a really sweet little heel cup that fits my heel very nicely. And you can sometimes tell that your sock is too big, or maybe just the back of the sock is too big. Because if you ever had those socks that creep down in your shoes as you walk, and let's say every couple of yards you got to stop, take your shoe off, pull them socks back up. It's just the worst thing ever. Your sock is too big if that's happening to you. And it could just be the heel, because I've had that problem with wide shoes too. They act like your whole foot is like this big block. And I have an average width heel is really the front of my foot that's wide. So those are things you want to think about when you're making socks, and try out slightly different constructions, because some heels will make your sock fit better on your type of foot. You can check out the book Sock Architecture if you want to get a little overview of the various kinds of heels and the explanation of why a particular heel is good for a particular foot. I'll put a link to it in the description bar. You know what? Let me write that down too, because I'll forget I said that. I would have written it down. Oh, thank you. But that's where I am on that sock, and I've been knitting them concurrently. So that means I'll get the sock to a particular place on sock 1, and then I'll put it down. So this heel is completely finished. So I'm going to move over to sock 2, and I have them on 2 different needle configurations. This one, I'm doing 2 short circular needles, and the other one, I'm using my flexi flips.
Anarchy.
They're all the same size. They're US ones. But because of the way I construct the sock using my foot model, I can have 2 totally different needle constructions, needle configurations, and still get the same size sock, because I'm building my sock on my foot model. So my sock is going to come out right regardless of what. I'm doing them on 2 different needle constructions. I'm doing them on 2 different needle setups.
Okay.
And it also helps me tell the socks apart, because I know I have one on this kind of needle and the other on the other kind of needle. And I don't have to remember, oh, this one is a left sock. I would never be able to keep up with that. And one other thing I did, what was driving me a little crazy, knitting just from these loose pieces of the stripe yarn was just fine. What was driving me crazy was having this ball attached. So what I've started doing is just cutting a length and tying knots, so that everything just kind of drapes and I don't have a ball to manage or get tied around. Would you mind not gasping like that? That really was uncalled for. So what I will be picking up later today is this sock and completing the heel, and then I will start building up the leg on both socks. Yay, I'm so excited. And I will link to 52 Weeks of Socks too in the description bar, because it's a really nice book, and I will probably be making more socks out of it. I really like them.
Do you have the shawl version too?
Yeah. I'll probably get whatever book they come out with. Those people make a beautiful book. They do. I really love how thoughtfully done it is. And as an object, it's lovely. But yeah, I think they're going to come out with one every couple of years. and it's available in paperback now on Amazon. And so far, patterns are very well written and beautifully put together. What else is going on with you, Cryss?
I'm working on my top. I'm making, taking a little detour from my dress.
Oh,
And making like, because I keep seeing all these cute little like 2-piece sets in stores, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and make me a cute little 2-piece set. And the idea just kind of took over my mind, and I ended up just starting something in the middle of the night when I'm typically much more disciplined. um, so I was. It's just gonna be like a basic little tube top, but this was on I think a 4mm hook, and I'm doing back loop only stitches, so the two together combined to make this just a little too loosey goosey for my taste.
okay.
So this is almost finished, and then I started over. So now I'm working on 3.5mm hook. So this yarn is Pendenza from Plymouth Yarns, and they do not have a crochet gauge on the ball band, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the knitting gauge, they suggested using a 3.75mm needle. I didn't pay any attention to that. I used the 4, but actually ended up going down to a 3.5, which is, especially with using these the back loop only stitches, the 3.5mm is just much better.
You know
and I
what?
think
Let me hold up the other one so we can do a side by side.
I'm going to get a much better
fabrics
fit.
Now this is the 4. Can you put yours next to that one? I'll fold down a bit. But you can really see the difference. Yeah.
See, these
in the
stitches
fabric.
are just stretching out more.
Yeah.
So this is just giving me better fabric integrity, even though I'm still using back loop only, and I'm still going to get really nice stretch out of it. So I made this out of with the 3.5, and then I decided to change the stitch pattern, so I ripped it out and did it again. This is like my 4th version of this top. Yeah. Which was supposed to be like, oh, I'll just, quickly make a little tank top. But this one, I was doing single crochet up to here and then half doubles for the rest of the row, and doing the half doubles every single row. The top was just expanding really fast, and so by the time this little piece at the bottom fit around me, I was going to have too much extra fabric
at the top,
in the top part. So what I did with this is one row will be singles up to here and then half doubles the rest of the way, but then the return row will just be single crochets. So those stitches aren't as tall and the top isn't growing as wide as quickly, and I think it's just going to fit much better. Yeah, let's talk about crochet gauge for a minute on ball bands, because some yarns will only give you a knitting gauge. True. And I feel like, you're just telling me outright this yarn is not for you if you're a crocheter if you don't put a crochet gauge on your ball band. And I don't know how much people notice that. I don't know if most crocheters just like, figuring this out on their own because, the yarn companies aren't telling us this information. But I feel like you got to put some marketing dollars behind me if you want my money. So going forward, I will be sure to tell you all when I'm using a yarn whether or not there's a crochet gauge on the ball band, and I'm grandfathering in any yarn I currently own, but in the future, I'm just not going to buy yarns that don't have a crochet gauge on the ball band, because market to me. Tell me you want me to use your product. It's like the one step that you have to take if you want me to take money out of my pocket and hand it to you.
No, I agree.
So
I agree wholeheartedly.
I'm really I think it's a thing that the industry needs to change, and there's absolutely no reason to maintain it. There's absolutely no reason to maintain it unless you're really just saying, our yarn is only for knitters.
Yeah.
If that is your statement, put that out big and bold on your website, on your Instagram. Let me see it so I just know. But basically, that's what you're telling me if you don't put a crochet gauge on your ball band. Our camera just like fell, and I don't know how we're going to fix this mid-show, but
that's
give
okay.
us a second.
It'll happen. We don't edit anything, so you're all going to see this.
Okay. All right.
There we go. You just gotta roll with the punches.
Oh, mercy. Okay. We're going to work on that little setup. I mean, can it get any more bootleg?
Don't ask those kind of questions.
I know when someone says that in a movie, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah. But yeah, you got to put a crochet gauge on your ball band, and that I'm just like making my stand right now. So if I already have a yarn in my stash, I will go ahead and use it because I done spent that money. But going forward, if you telling me yarn ain't for me as a crocheter, then I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
So I will make a point of letting you know when I'm using a yarn whether or not there is a crochet gauge on the ball band going forward. Because I really think this is something people need to talk about more if we want this to actually change.
That's right.
But that's what I'm working on. And it is a 100% cotton yarn. It's a DK weight. And I'm hoping to get a skirt out of it. I've not bought any yarn this year. I've gone through the entire first quarter.
Well, that one
ball.
I
was going to say. That one ball. But I didn't buy yarn just because I wanted some yarn. I bought the one ball of yarn to finish a project. And so that will be my exception to my rule that I will, if I need yarn just to finish a project. So not just like if I have yarn in my stash, it's like, oh, I want a few more balls of that. Yeah. But if I started a project and I need more yarn to finish it, I will go ahead and just buy that 1 or 2 balls of yarn because I don't want to just have like that unfinished object sitting around. But
can we talk about the gradient on that? I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty. And I got really lucky because this is 2 balls.
Wow.
But I was able to match up where one ball ended and the other yarn started.
That's the thing with Pendenza. The way they have dyed it, it is very easy to match up.
So this is where I joined 2 balls and this was all 1 ball. And I think you can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. It looks like you designed it that way.
It does gradient really nicely, and I'm looking forward to wearing this. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to make my shoulder straps out of like fabric or ribbon or something, just so I can save myself a tiny little bit of yarn to try to like get as much possible for the skirt. So I still have to like find, I don't know if I have anything in my house already, but if not, a little bit of ribbon with a coupon probably won't be that much. And I will make my shoulder straps out of that. And if this outfit comes together the way I'm seeing it in my head, it's going to be really cute. And I'm like super excited about it. And it's DK. So if I hadn't just kept making the top over and over and over again, it would have gone really quickly.
Yeah.
So hopefully, from here on out, things will go a little bit faster and I will whip up a skirt, I'm telling myself, and have a cute little 2-piece set because I don't know, that's just like a thing that's been on my mind at the moment. So we'll see.
You go, girl. I'm very excited to see how that comes out. So I'm going to piggyback on Crystal's point there. One of the things I was going to talk about was how to search for things by gauge. And crocheters, if you're looking for crochet friendly company, check out Universal Yarn because all of their yarns have both a knitting gauge and a crochet gauge on them. They also have knitting patterns and crochet patterns, and usually at least one crochet sample you can see to see how the yarn looks crocheted. I'm going to be doing a vest in this Universal Deluxe chunky. As a matter of fact, it's the same yarn Crystal used for her jacket that she's wearing now. And I had picked out a vest, but I kind of fell out of love with it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to force myself.
Mission creep and the vest.
I did.
All the plans for the vest kept growing and there was color work and surface stitching.
Yeah, it was too much. It was just entirely too much. I might do a little bit of something on this one though. But anyway.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
But I also had fallen in love with the Anyday sweater. But I really wanted to make a vest because I want something for the transitional season. Because right now we're still in flux where we are. It can be 75 degrees today and 30 degrees tomorrow and anything in between. So I was sure I wanted a vest. Come to find out, there is something called the Anyday Vest. And I was like, oh my God. I don't even know why my computer is doing this right now, but okay. I don't want to
Why
open my
didn't you
system
make that?
preferences. I should have. Never. You know what? Never mind. I was going to share the screen, but I don't think I am now. I hope
Your
we're still
Chrome.
recording.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Just click cancel.
I'm going to cancel that.
Why did you just put a picture?
I don't know. I thought it would be easier just to share.
Anyway, it's called the Anyday Vest.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not going to insert a picture because that will require going in and editing.
Yeah, no.
But it's in there. You know, I'm going to try it one more time.
No,
I think I did.
No,
Really. I think I know what I did wrong. I think I know
Wait,
what I did wrong. I think I know what I did wrong. I needed to choose Chrome tab. There we go. Ah. Whew. Okay.
I can't.
That was difficult.
This has been a very stressful episode.
It has, hasn't it? Okay, so this is the Anyday Vest by Lily Kate France, and this is the vest I'm going to make out of my Universal Deluxe Chunky. Now, this vest is a Rowan pattern, and they make it out of something called brushed fleece. No, yeah,
it's on the screen if you just put the picture down.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, she made this particular version out of Plymouth Marion. But my point is, this is very much like that Rowan yarn, only it's not quite as soft. But the way I came upon this pattern, it was very coincidental because I had absolutely no idea this vest existed. But I wanted to show you guys this. So let's say you have some yarn in your stash, right?
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to get into regular Ravelry. Oh, there we are. Oh, really gonna make me sign in? Okay, fine, Ravelry.
Oh, I mean, this episode has really gone like
slightly sideways, but not too bad. I decided what I was going to do was look for a pattern that worked with the gauge of this yarn. Mm-hmm. So since there's both a knitting and crochet gauge on here, this will work for knitters and crocheters. So if you slide on down to the bottom of Ravelry in the pattern search page, one of the ways you can search for patterns is by gauge, either in centimeters or in inches. And I chose gauge in inches. And I told it I only want to see patterns that are in a gauge of 14 stitches by 18 rows.
No, and that to how many inches?
Well, over 4 inches, and that's how it is here, over 4 inches. And that's how it's stated in most patterns. Mm-hmm. So the bulk of the patterns I'm going to see are in the gauge of 14 stitches by 18 rows. And it was just really easy to then filter for vests and only look at vests that will match the gauge of the yarn I actually have. So that's just a little trick you can use. And because, like you said, this yarn has both a knitting and crochet gauge on it, that will work for crocheters too, because there's no reason for crocheters to be inconvenienced. Yeah, guys, y'all have to do better with the information that should be available. But most of these patterns will have the gauge that I'm looking for from the get-go. Now, does this mean I'm not going to do a swatch? Nope. I'm still going to do a swatch. Just to make sure I'm getting that gauge. But it's nice that I can, yeah. It's nice that I can sort of give myself a better chance of getting gauge by searching for patterns that were built on the gauge that I have to begin with. It's going to make for a lot less, pattern adjusting and all of that if you don't want to be bothered doing that. But it will only work for yarns that have the gauge built on them. Or what you can do is do a swatch, measure your gauge, and look for patterns that match your gauge.
So do you have a target date for completion of your vest?
You know what? I am going to try to create this vest in 4 weeks. And today is what? April
Fifth, sixth,
5th.
seventh.
You're no good.
One of those.
5th, 6th, 7th. Okay, and it's April 7th.
See, it's
because my
one of
phone won't
those.
tell me. I'm like, my phone won't tell me. I'm ready to panic at any moment. So I will set a timeline for it and I'll put it in the description box so you guys can help me keep accountable on that. Because Crystal will give me the stink eye.
Just trying to encourage you to be your most productive.
What else you got?
I have some what I'm calling pips.
What's a pip?
It's a project in planning.
Oh, okay. Fancy pants.
I'm trying to make pip happen, like fetch.
Wow, I haven't heard fetch in a minute. Okay.
But yeah, I have a project that I'm planning. It's gonna be a dress. I saw it. I wrote a blog post about it.
Where would your blog be, Cryss?
Oh mercy, crochetcryss.com. That's it. Oh, you're not gonna do it again, are you?
Oh, absolutely, I'm gonna do it again.
But see, it's not there. Oh well. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm looking for my banner. Isn't that weird? Okay, you go ahead. Talk about your pips, hon.
Oh, there. Oh, she found her banner.
Yay! So visit crochetcryss.com.
Anyway, I am planning a dress. I finally figured out what I want to do with my crochet thread. So if you've been following along, y'all know I got some crochet thread. Totally intimidated by it, but I want to actually use it. Yeah, we have some like really pretty colors that I'm really excited about. And I saw a dress actually in a sewing tutorial, but it was like just basic rectangles, and I was like, one could crochet such a thing quite easily. So, except it's gonna take me all the years because it's gonna be like I need a lot of fabric there, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you look at my blog, I actually have something like a sketch.
Oh, nice. Okay, I'm so excited. So she did not tell me anything about this before we started because she knows I would have done a screen share on it.
Yeah. Oh, drat. Did I forget to mention?
Yes, you did.
My
Okay,
bad.
I see you.
But yeah, so you see what the idea is for the dress. And so I want to finish my 2-piece outfit, and then I want to finish my silk dress. So that's why it's not a whip, it's a pip. It's still in the planning stages. This is just like my idea is starting to kind of sort of come together. But I don't even know like what stitch pattern I'm going to use yet. I still have to swatch and see what hook size I want to use when I'm working with the crochet thread. So I got a little ways to go. That's why she's a pip.
Okay.
So that's what's like on the horizon. I'm trying to work in the spring summer make area.
Yeah.
And then I have a plan for like a little handkerchief top because apparently those are like really easy. So that might be something I also make out of my crochet thread. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I also have, then I'm going to adopt a term. I like that. Let's see if we can make pip happen together. I also have a pip. I am already starting to think about spring, summer projects that I can do. So I think what I would love to do is I like a twin set. I do. I really like a twin set. So I would like to do like a cami top and a little thing to go over it.
What weight yarn would you work out of?
I would be working in sport or DK, but I'd be working in cotton and or silk and linen. So I'm thinking about making something like that out of chai, which is a silk and linen blend. And I think that would be really, really sweet. Now you got me looking with the stink eye at all my yarns.
Is there a crochet gauge on this?
You know what? Yes. Go ahead, Barocco. We love you guys. You're all the good guys, like Universal.
I'm just saying.
No, that's interesting because on this one, they're recommending pretty much the same needle size of millimeters, 4.5 millimeters.
I always find that odd because it does make a difference. Because while we have the same barrel size for the hook and the needle, actually fitting the yarn into the hook is where you're going to run into an issue.
Yeah.
So I don't think. I mean, there's a range of hooks and needles that you use for any given yarn, though. So I don't know.
It depends. It depends on what you need from the fabric, though.
Yeah, because it's gonna be this one. I definitely was better off going down to 3.5 just because I'm using the back loop only stitches.
And this one, they recommended a slight difference in needle size. So for the knitters, they recommended a 6.5 millimeter, and for crocheters, they recommended a 6 millimeter. So that's what did you actually use for this piece that you're wearing?
Oh no, this I went up to, I want to say maybe a 7 or 8 millimeter. I don't remember.
That's cool. So I have that, and I also have some cumulus that I would make the over piece out of. But since this is a worsted weight, I would make it a small over piece, so like a little bolero or a little shrug. And I think that will still be cool and comfortable, but it will give me some protection when I'm inside an air conditioning, which is really what I'm looking at.
Because I saw some little twin sets at Target.
Oh, you know what?
They were a little cheap looking.
Yeah. You know what I was wondering? I'm wondering when we're at Target because on Monday because we're getting our vaccines, right? And we happened to stroll by some clothes they had. Now I am wondering, remember that big dust up in the crochet community about inexpensive crochet items? Now we did see some crochet items at Target, but they weren't actually crocheted.
Yeah, no,
they were knitted
to look like crochet.
So I was wondering if that was what people were seeing and mistaking it for actual crochet.
I don't know, because I don't know. I got the impression that they had specifically released like a selection of crochet items.
Yeah, but we didn't see any actual crochet
but that
items.
was also like maybe like a month ago or so, because they change out merchandise every week now. It's ridiculous. So just a few weeks later, we might not be seeing the same things in store.
Okay, because I was wondering about that, because I was like, I didn't see one real crochet piece. They had cleverly designed machine knitted items that
which was kind of looked like. I don't think I've ever like seen that like really up close like that before. It was weird. Like a quick glance, you would think it was crochet, but there was something else. You know what it was? They were supposed to look like double crochet stitches, but double crochet stitches are, when you just do a whole fabric of them, they're gappy. You will see spaces between those stitches. So they had something that had that effect, but it didn't have the spaces between it. And so it was very discordant looking at it. I was like,
it was weird.
That's not what it's supposed to look like. But I think, the materials you use will also make a difference. And I'm, just using nicer stuff. So I think mine will come out cute.
Really cute. Like super cute, yeah.
But we'll see. I have so much crocheting to do. And I'm like, I need more hours in my day. Not just more hours of daylight, just like more hours.
More hours, period.
Yes.
You'll take them. Like, I don't care if it's in the dark or in the light. I don't care.
Like, we can stretch a day to like 30 hours.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I was going to say 36, but I was like, don't be greedy.
Yeah.
That's bring other people along a little bit more slowly.
You better.
So...
I also saw this kind of shorts and top set that's knitted that I might consider.
I have several patterns for crochet shorts, and for some reason I've just been like, I don't know. For some reason, I don't believe like you can actually make shorts. I don't know what it is, and I guess I should try it at some point. Because I have I have at least like 5 patterns for crochet shorts, and I haven't made them yet. And I feel like if I make one, it's gonna start a thing.
It's gonna start a trend.
It's gonna be a movement. So, because I actually really want to crochet some pants.
I want to make leggings, like full on leggings, and I was just perusing some patterns the other day, and I was like, you know what? Maybe my fall kickoff project would be some leggings.
I have so much to get to. It's not even funny. Right. And my allergies have been giving me no peace. No. So sometimes it's a little hard to get everything done that I want to in a day. But I'm excited about like my crochet projects. Like just like I'm like buzzing, and I want to make all the makes all the time.
So let us know down in the description bar. Are you planning any specific like spring summer outfit makes?
Yeah, because I feel like people believe there's like this summer lull like in yarn shops and stuff, but I don't feel like there should be. There's like so much to make year round.
It's not just a belief. We saw it.
Like, but why? So let me know what your stitching life is like in the summer. Like, are you planning ahead and making things for fall, winter? Or are you like switching gears and making some summer things? Or do you like take the summer to make like your household items, like your washcloths and your pillows and things like that? Because the thing I like to make is clothes. So I'm just trying to like switch gears and make lighter weight garments. But in a perfect world, I would be working a season ahead always.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten to that yet because I'm very mercurial in my crochet. So sometimes I just want to work on the thing that I want to work on.
Yeah, your eye gets caught.
But yeah, how are you
dividing up your
adjusting for seasonal shifts in your stitching?
Because I think now I don't work in the heat really, so we're air conditioned. So for me, the material doesn't really matter as much as for working with. But for wearing, I will probably work almost exclusively in linen, in silk, in linen and silk blends, and cotton in the summer, just for, if I'm going to make things I'm going to wear in the summer. And I'm going to like plan a cutoff date so I can start like a fall sweater thing, or really just go ahead and cast on those leggings.
Yeah, because my dress is silk. This is cotton. It had this other cotton. I actually thought it was a linen, but it's the strangest cotton I've ever come across. It's from a Japanese brand called Ito, and it's called Kima, and it's almost like a flat tape, but it's a lace weight. And it has like kind of like a rougher texture. I don't know. It's very interesting, and I'm gonna swatch it a little bit and try to figure out what I can do with that. But yeah, I have some, and then I also have some of the chai, which is the silk linen. So yeah, I do want to like explore my summer yarns right now. And then the crochet thread is usually 100% cotton. So I do have enough like lighter weight yarns that I do want to work with. I just have to buckle down.
Yeah, and I think my short and top set it's going to be the flutter butt shorts because I like the ruffle on it.
A flutter butt?
Yes. Okay. It's a flutter butt short and a flutter butt top.
I'm saying flutter butt.
I gotta say flutter butt. Come on.
Okay.
So I will link to those. Put them in, check them out and see what you think. If you could see making the flutter butt short, then
stop saying
top.
You're not gonna get me this week. You're not gonna get me this week.
No, I'm not. Not me. Good, Crystal. Bad
like
Lisa.
We can just take that down
now. Okay. Check out Crystal's blog. Okay. Good stuff on there.
How do you know?
I've been reading it very quietly.
I hate her.
Oh, I also want to share a blog post I've done. I just did a blog post. It's called, I believe, 6 Tips for Creating a Handmade Wardrobe You'll Love. And that's exactly what it is. 6 tips for thinking about and executing a handmade wardrobe. Now, when you guys think handmade wardrobe, what are you thinking of making? Are you going to be a purist about it?
was just
and
being a
make.
purist.
There's people out there trying to make everything they wear.
Oh no,
I'm not.
I'm not making socks and underwear.
I make socks.
Just, but yeah, she makes a lot of socks. She makes nice socks. Though. I'm not making socks and underwear. Like ever.
That's what I said about socks until I started wearing handmade socks, and now I love them. So
right.
I will at least make handmade socks.
But I do want to make like everything else. Like I want, like I have a pattern actually for like a crochet, like a blazer, and I definitely want to make that because I just think that's like a really cool thing. I feel like it's something that people don't crochet particularly often.
Yeah.
But it's really like, you know, kind of like a tailored style blazer, and I gotta find the right yarn for it though.
Yeah,
but I want to like be very versatile, and I want to be able to make coats. I want to be able to make dresses. I want to be able to make like all of the things that are not socks and underwear.
But that's one of the decisions you have to make. Okay, what exactly it is am I going to make? You know, and how do I want to integrate my new pieces with my old pieces? Because yeah,
got like a whole thing here,
like,
and then I would wear this with just like a pair of store-bought pants, and then I've got like everything represented. I've got my store-bought stuff, I've got my crochet stuff, I got my stone stuff. Like my little me wardrobe's coming together.
Oh, I want to get labels.
Oh yeah, me too.
I want to get labels.
I want some custom labels.
I think that's going to be a little treat that I get myself. I'm going to get some little custom labels that say, you know, Lisa made this right here. And it took forever. Because that would be true in my case.
We're going to work on that. We're going to get you just a little tiny bit faster.
You got anything else?
No, did we get everything on the list?
I think so. Go us.
I didn't know there was a list.
She thinks lists are too official.
No, I'm just
and she calls me the chaotic one.
I know.
And I make a list.
Because you know what? Like I feel like I come and sit and I make conversation. So I don't like plan ahead of time. Trust me, I plan nothing ahead of time. I have no idea what I'm gonna say when I sit in front of this camera.
For me, the list is less of a plan than oh, don't forget. Because I get caught up in whatever we're talking about. And I'm like, oh, having such a good time. Let's do this. Oh, I did want to mention one other thing. See what I'm saying? I still have some surprise bags. So if you want to get yourself a little something, check out our website. The link will be down below. And the bags are just full of fun, squishy joy. And you get to surprise yourself. Somebody was giving the stink eye to my needle collection.
It's not
as
that
though she doesn't have a bunch of
hooks. Stink eye, because stink eye implies disapproval. For me, it was just more like surprise that so many needles are required for knitting, and I just feel like for me, that seems a little like prohibitive. It's a little like off-putting. Like, shall we show them? Just so you have an idea.
I feel a little bit judged.
You brought it up. I wasn't going to say nothing, even though I was sitting here staring at them.
I saw you staring. That's what brought it back to mind.
So these are all little bags that she has with different kinds of needles. And I'm just like, that seems like a lot, you know, because apparently you need different materials, and then you need the circulars and the DPNs, and then of course you just need different sizes. So what I have are different sizes, and I've been using the Crochet Amour hooks for a really long time, and I'm just trying out some Tulip Edimos, because the only thing that bothers me about the Clover Amour hooks is that the handle size changes with the hook size. So when you're working at the smaller sizes, your hand is closed like really, really tight. And I feel like, you know, the smaller the handle, the more hand pain I'm going to have over time, especially if I forget to take breaks, which I sometimes do.
Yes.
Whereas the Edimos at the set that I have goes from, I think, 3.25 to 6 millimeter, but the handles are all the same size on them. And I do like that, except they're not as soft a grip. So if I could like mousse the two brands together and like take the properties from each one that I like, I'd be very, very happy. But you had said one of the yarn reps had mentioned someone was coming out with new
Yes.
hooks that were supposed to be like the hooks to end all hooks.
I have to remember who it was. I don't remember what brand it was, but it might
Was
have
it
been
Clover?
Clover. It might have been Clover. They're coming out with a new style of hook, but she really couldn't tell me anything.
Yeah, they
about
had
it
just
at
gotten
that
like
point.
a heads up.
Yeah,
In fact, maybe send her an email.
yeah.
Ask her what's up with that.
Yeah.
Because once Lisa told me, I was like, oh. So the only issue is, like I said, the majority of hooks seem to be designed for knife holders. I'm a pencil holder, so I'm just curious to see if a new kind of hook takes that into account, or if they're just like really focused on the knife hold people. Because I don't know, in the US, is that the majority style, the dominant style of hook? Yeah, I learned from my grandmother. I use the hold that she taught me. I can do knife hold, but I'm real slow because I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
So it would take me forever to make it. As a matter of fact, usually like I'll start and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. And I switch. I've never made it through a whole project knife hold.
Have you? I haven't seen your new hooks. Do you think like pencil grips would fit over the handle?
Usually not. Pencils, it turns out, are surprisingly skinny.
Because I think if you slit them and just put it on, you might give yourself that bit of cushion.
I've tried that with past hooks. It's even the boy hooks, when you get up to a certain size, they just don't fit in the pencil holders. But so I'm still on a search for like my perfect hook. I have not found it yet.
I know. For me, the little tiny bit of crochet I occasionally do, I love the prim hooks. But I am a knife holder. And they're...
Although I find the prim hooks a little weird because the head, the hook part, it's unusually long. And just because I've worked with the Clovers for so long, the metal part that's not the handle, that's not the grip, is quite short.
Right.
And I'm used to that. The prim ones, I felt like I was just too far away from
the
yarn.
I love that. Matter of fact, one of my issues that I had with my crocheting was over time my grip would get tighter and tighter and tighter, and that gave me hand pain. But the prim hooks,
yeah, that problem with pens too.
Yes, I do. It's an issue. I mean, I don't even want to talk about my pen issues, but I'm very specific about what I need from a pen. Like this is about the biggest width of a pen I could use. But I find with the prim hooks, when I use them, I tend to like roll it in my hand like this. That length of the shaft, it really it lightens in my entire grip. And I'm still knife holding, but I'm not knife holding my entire hand. I'm just knife holding my fingertips. And it was so comfortable. And they're so light. I hate a heavy hook.
I would definitely try those if I was knife hold. Because compared to, say, the furls hooks, which also have those bulbous bodies, but they're very heavy, and I find that they're weighted oddly so that so much of the weight is on the back end. It wasn't comfortable for me in either grip.
Yeah, and I found them too wide. The bodies were too wide. The prims, the bodies are a bit more narrow, and I'm doing this, and it's like very velvety and wonderful.
So let us know, what do you need from a hook? Like, we all have the hooks that we're using because they're what we're using, but what would you like if you had a say in designing crochet hooks? What would you like to see? Because one of the things that's like really important for me would just be the handle size not changing, because I just don't want the handles to go down too small. Especially because I tend to work with the lighter weight yarns. I am using, I think, and it's funny because I mentioned Tiffany Lou, and she said that she's a knitter, but she thinks 3mm needles are perfect for 3mm weight yarn. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think 3mm hooks are perfect for 3mm weight yarn. It's just like the ideal marriage, but the handle on my 3mm hook is just real small.
Yeah.
So someone who took that into account, yeah. I do have this dream, like the fantasy, really, of one day like having custom crochet hooks made for myself, like one day in the far future. Like, I would do really odd things if I won the lottery.
Yeah.
One of the things I would do is just commission my own specially designed crochet hooks that were just right for me, and I'd have like an ergonomic specialist like measure my hand and just like work it all out for me. Is this what normal people dream about?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Of course.
I feel like I've shared too much. But yes, I do think about how nice it would be to just. I feel like there's a lot of rich people out there who don't know what to do with their money because they're buying like shoes and handbags and stuff, and what you want are custom crochet hooks. Unless it's just me.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about your hook dreams in the comments. I do want to hear.
I am. I've always said that if I were going to have my ideal knitting needle, it would have the sharp higher points with that dead red chagu cord.
Yeah, she has mentioned that.
Oh my god, that would be like the needle that I would do most things on. Oh, and one other feature, it would be a square body.
Pourquoi?
Because when I knit, there must be a nerve. Matter of fact, if you can see my finger, there's a little divot built into it here. That's from knitting.
Oh.
And there must be a nerve that runs here. So some needles in particular make my fingers go numb after I've used them for a while.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. For some reason, I noticed it particularly with my Addy clicks.
I just tried some Tunisian. I keep thinking I want to learn Tunisian, and then I try it, and I'm like, no, I don't. So my mom showed me Tunisian simple stitch, and it went fine. Like learning how to do it wasn't an issue, but I had wrist pain trying to figure out how to hold the Tunisian hook. And one of the issues for me was just I didn't like, at some point you're going to have to hold the hook in such a way that some of those loops are under your hand. Right. And that was a really odd feeling. I didn't like that. I didn't like having the yarn under my hand.
Yeah.
But I also just couldn't figure out the right way to position my hand. So I had pain like in the wrist and then like a little bit in the forearm. Yeah, I don't know if I can mess with it.
Yeah, she don't like open stitches to begin with. Every time she sees me knitting, she's like, look at all those open stitches.
Like sometimes she'll be like, oh, my stitches fell off my needle. And I'm like, and she just like doesn't even think about it. But I'm just like, what are you going to do?
I'm going to pick them up. It's like, I tell people that all the time too. If your kid fell on the sidewalk, you wouldn't leave them there. Pick them up. That's all you got to do.
Your child's not going to unravel though.
You've seen kids like fall out and cry. They're like,
your knitting will. But that would just be a whole other issue for me than trying to find both the right grip and the right hook if I was going to do Tunisian. So Tunisian is on indefinite hold. Let me tell you, because I just don't want to have to deal with just figuring out what the right ergonomics are for me,
right,
for a Tunisian right now. So I might try some embroidery though.
Embroidery is lovely. I love embroidery.
But
oh, you know what? I did want to talk about one last thing. I think what I'm going to be sharing going forward is the actual cost of my projects.
Yeah,
because I find that
to talk about that too.
People don't.
Some of our yarn we got wholesale.
Right, but I would talk about the retail cost.
Yeah.
Because that's what
like
most
as a matter of
fact,
this. Lisa had ordered some of this at the store for a customer, and then she ended up not needing it. So I was like, I will take that. Thank you very much. Because it was just
she snatched it up just that quick.
It was just the 5 skeins. So, it wouldn't have made sense. We would have had to throw this right directly into the sale bin because you really can't sell just like 5 skeins of one yarn. You need a selection or people just like tune it out. So I was like, well, I will take that. Thank you. Because I've wanted to work with this yarn for a minute. It's just, I like cotton and I love this gradient. But yeah, I do think people need to talk about money more. And people do this weird like humble brag thing where it's just like, oh, it was so much. I don't want to tell you how much it was. Like they want you to know it was expensive, but they still don't want to say the number. And I'm just like, whatever you spent, it was your choice. You spent it. Let's just go ahead and talk about it. I try to be you know what? I swing back and forth. Like sometimes I want yarn like as cheaply as humanly possible. Like the first dress I ever crocheted, I made it a point to crochet a dress literally as cheaply as I could. So I told you I got yarn out of a dollar bin at AC Moore. I miss AC Moore. And then I had the nerve to use a coupon. So I got 25% off. So I got my yarn for 75 cents a ball. So my dress ended up costing me about $7. And then it tried to kill me because it was acrylic. But I still wore it. I wore it to a wedding, and the wedding was in spring, so that was fine. It was when I wore a dress in the summer we had an issue. But so sometimes I try to get my yarn like as cheaply as humanly possible, and sometimes I may overdo just a bit. But I'm a Gemini. I have two modes.
Yeah, two modes indeed.
One is like incredibly loud, and the other is absolute silence.
So, you guys saw my painting rainbow shawl? No.
Painting honeycombs.
Painting honeycombs.
I don't know to put the banner on the screen.
Yeah, I'm about to put the wrong banner up again because I never changed it from last time. Painting Honeycombs by Stephen West.
Sorry, Stephen.
Sorry. So I actually had some yarn left over from the second. I needed 2 of the skeins of Color Burst. Those are 200-gram skeins. And I had less than half of the second skein left over. Yeah, I would say I used about 2/3 of the second skein.
Sounds like a fingerless glove to me.
Hmm?
Sounds like a fingerless glove to me.
Sounds like it too, don't it? But I also matched it with Barocco Ultra Wool. So the Color Burst was $20 a skein. And I used 2 skeins, let's call it that. And the Barocco Ultra Wool DK, I used 3 of those. Well, 2 plus part of another one. But I always round up to the next whole skein.
Because you got to buy that whole skein.
Yeah, you got to buy that whole skein no matter what.
Made a way to sell partial skeins would probably make a killing. Like if you could just wind off exactly how much you needed.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like you buy fabric. Oh no. That would not be fun as the yarn seller, I gotta tell you.
Then you buy your yarn by the yard?
I need 6 inches. Yeah, I just need 6 inches, all right? So let me see. 1325 times 3. So that was $39.75 for the Barocco Ultra Wool, plus another $40. So that cost $79.75. And the pattern itself was €6, which today is about $6.84. So altogether, that was $86.59 that I spent for that shawl.
I mean, it's a nice shawl.
I love it. I absolutely love wearing it. Now, I did use less expensive yarns for it because if I had made this out of hand dye, I don't know what it would cost.
Molly girl.
So I do want to, I'm going to be working in yarns I'm going to work in every kind of yarn, I'm going to tell you the truth. But my particular focus is mid-price yarns to lower cost yarns that still work up into beautiful projects. Because I love wearing this thing. And I think if I had made it in fingering, it would just cost more. That would just be the bottom line. It would just cost way more. And if I had made it in hand dye, I would be looking at a $200 plus shawl.
One of my issues is that as I'm working, I tend to lose track of how many balls of yarn I use.
Well, I wanted to.
So that's my issue because I do want to also keep track of my costs like that. But that's one of these days we're going to get around to talking about habits, about our stitching habits that we want to change or improve. And if we remember, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Don't count on us remembering.
I'll put it on the list.
Ooh, the list. Make it all official.
Yes.
But that's one of the things I want to do because I want to be able to then anticipate those costs.
Exactly.
When I want to make something.
And my socks that I'm working on, those are actually 2 skeins of Angora lace. They're 100-gram skeins. So, one of each is good. Matter of fact, it's so funny because I didn't even need
the second skein because you're doing the intarsia.
I'm doing the intarsia. Yeah. Had I done it Angora lace costs $8 a skein. So had I not done the intarsia and I just made vanilla socks, it would have been $8. But because I needed some yarn from the second skein to do the intarsia, it's going to be $16 for those socks. But with that intarsia, if you have some leftover yarn in your stash, you could incorporate a little bit of leftover because it's really not much. So far, I pulled out a 6-foot thread for each one of my stripes, and I haven't run out yet from the initial 6-foot. So you just need a few feet of yarn for that intarsia on that sock. So if you want to cut the cost on that, use leftover yarn as your intarsia yarn. But I think that's it for me today. How about you? Oh, what did your camisole end up costing?
I don't know because I don't know how much each item that I bought from the store cost, but I don't think the skirt was more than $5.
That's what I was thinking.
And I'm getting 2 camisoles out of it, and I spent $1 on the pattern.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So if the skirt was $5, so far I've spent like $6. If you want to throw in the cost of the yarn, I spent of the thread. I spent $3 on the thread. So still under $10 for 2 camisoles.
So think about what you paid the last time you bought camisoles at the store. So yeah, this is like totally doable.
I mean to make my sewing economical. I'm not gonna spend crazy money on fabric. Yeah. What I'm thinking about doing is like I'm just gonna, thrift and get my materials for sewing that way. And then like once a year, I'll treat myself to some like, new fabric from a fabric store.
Maybe for your birthday.
But just I was thinking more closer to Christmas because one, people might be having some sales and getting rid of like their year-end merchandise. And two, I want to make sure that I've used my thrifted fabric first. So if I've been good that year,
oh wow,
I can buy myself some new fabric.
Okay.
Because I ain't gonna be spending all my money. Like the thing is, like I want things, I want new things, I want new clothes. I do. I will always want new clothes, but I don't want to spend crazy on it. Like I still want to save I feel very clever challenging myself to have what I want without spending a lot of money and really not compromising very much. Still getting the things that I like, getting things that I want to wear and building the wardrobe that I want, but still not spending a ton of money and not contributing to all of the fast fashion mess because we are making a right mess. So I'm very excited about my journey. We'll see how it goes though.
Yeah. And I think I will be including the price of everything in my blog posts when I write a finished object post too. Because I think that's part of the conversation that's missing. Hey, what did this thing cost? And then I compare it to the price, and at least in my mind, I compare it to the price I would have paid for buying something already made that's a similar quality. So anyway, that's it for me. You done? Thank you guys. If you stayed this long, do like and subscribe. Mom will love it. What do you call her? Our social.
She's our social liaison.
Yes,
so
let me explain.
Because Mom always tells us how many people have watched the video, how many subscribers we have, whether or not we have comments and what have you. And I saw someone on television doing the same thing, and she was just reading comments from the website to the host of the show. And on the screen, they put that she was a social liaison. And I was like, oh, that's what Mom is, because that's exactly what she's doing.
Yes.
So Mother is our social liaison.
So thank you guys and have a great week. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay stitching.